Namaskar. This is David Hawthorne at astroview.com. Today is the 20th of April, 2023. The following is the horoscope reading for the SpaceX Starship that was launched today. News reports it launched at 9:30. I was watching it, it looked like it was actually launched at 9:34, so we'll look at both of those. Now I am using the systems approach to Vedic astrology for interpreting this chart. This gives the Taurus rising sign at 17 degrees. Rising sign degrees are not arbitrary. 0 to 30 is possible in every house. This number changes every 4 minutes of the day. It's very specific to the exact time of birth for any person, company, country, or event. So this is called most effective point. Any planet close to the most effective point will have an impact in the house it occupies and in the houses it aspects. Now we say for the Taurus rising sign that in addition to Rahu and Ketu, the north and south nodes of the moon that can cause adverse effects, the Taurus rising sign persons also have to be careful about their 6th house ruler Venus, the 8th house ruler Jupiter, and the 12th house ruler Mars. And that is because in every horoscope, the 6th house, the 8th house, and the 12th house are called Dustan Bhavas, inauspicious houses. If these houses contain what is known as a Mul Trikona sign, then that ruler of that sign becomes a functional malefic planet for that horoscope. All the other planets would be functional benefic planets. So we see immediately that Venus ruling this 6th house, which is also connected with accidents, explosions, setbacks, is on the most effective point. If it's within a 5-degree orb, there's the impact. My experience is the closer to the exact number, the more intense. So if Venus was actually at 17 degrees, it'd be 100% affliction. But it's just slightly less than 17 degrees, so maybe we're looking at a 95% affliction. But Venus afflicts the 1st house of self, as it were, and its 7th aspect afflicts the 7th house of relationships and partnerships. And Mars is also within the 5-degree orb of the most effective point. So it afflicts the house of continuation of family life, wealth, and status. And its 4th aspect afflicts the 5th house of investments. The 7th aspect afflicts the 8th house, which is also connected with accidents, obstructions, delays. There was about a 4-minute delay when they started, and even death-like experiences. And the 8th aspect of Mars into the 9th house is not good for dharma or good fortune. Now planets going into the 6th, 8th, and 12th automatically become weak. The exception is if the planet rules that house and it's in good degrees, it's okay. In other words, if Venus was here, that's fine, or Jupiter is here, that's fine, or Mars is here, that's fine. But in this case, we see that Sun, Moon, and Mercury are all in the 12th house. 12th house is connected with losses, expenses, separations, and end of life. Sun rules the fourth house of property and vehicles or conveyances. Conveyances simply means any mode of transportation. Moon rules the third house of self-initiatives and entrepreneurial activities. And Mercury rules the fifth house of investments in the mind and the intellect, calculations. So these planets are all badly placed in the 12th house, of Dustan Bhava. They have no power to protect their own significations. Sun also being leadership. Moon being the public, and Mercury being technology and communications. But now we have an additional problem. If Rahu and Ketu are within 5 degrees of some other planet, they cause an eclipse, some problem. So we see that Rahu's only, well, if we round it off to 10, about 4 degrees from Sun, but only less than 2 degrees from Moon. So Rahu and Ketu in this chart are afflicting Sun and Moon. So this is definitely not ideal. Now, speaking of the eclipse or eclipses, which occur whenever Sun and Moon are close to Rahu and Ketu, let's do this. So this SpaceX Starship launched from Boca Chica in Texas. But look what happened today. A hybrid solar eclipse occurred. Today is April 20th, 2023. This is a rare type of eclipse. It changes its appearance from annular to total and then back. It's the moon shadow. The moon shadow moves across the Earth's surface. They're very rare. Only 3% of the solar eclipses will be the hybrid. Yes, we did not see it in the United States, but it still existed. So this chart, in my opinion, does not support a successful launch. We can also consider the Mahadasha and Antradasha, the main period and the subperiod. Main period are the general trend, riverbed of time. Subperiods are the operating planets, the hands on the clock. So first off, we have Ketu sitting in the 6th house of accidents, ruled by the functional malefic Venus, which becomes weak because Venus is in a house that is afflicted. No matter, it's doing the afflicting. Planets in a house that's under an affliction become weak. So there was no protection, as it were, against accidents or health, as it were, the health of the rocket. And Ketu had an impact on the Sun and on the Moon. Now, not on Mercury directly, because Mercury is outside the 5-degree orb. But Mercury becomes weak because it's in the 12th house and because its dispositor, Mercury, Moon, and Sun are all in Aries. The dispositor or the landlord is Mars. Is Mars strong? No, Mars is weak as well. Why? Because it's at 19 degrees on the most effective point. Now, it's not 100% impact or even at 80%. This is 60%. You go 20% per degree. But nonetheless, Mars becomes weak because it's in a house that's afflicted. And its 4th aspect afflicts Virgo. And who rules Virgo? Mercury. So that further undermines Mercury, which was the operating planet. It's communications, technology, business, money goes up in smoke. So my main point here is that it would be ideal, well, let me put it this way. Most people are not aware that there is a horoscope for every moment of the day. As I'm speaking right now, if a baby was born, there'd be a horoscope for that baby. But there's also a horoscope when you put on a gemstone or a mystical pendant. There's a horoscope when you start a new business or take a wedding vow or launch a space shuttle or get sworn in as president. There's a horoscope for every moment of the day. Most people are not aware of this, so they do these important things in life arbitrarily. They're gambling. If the horoscope is strong, then yes, things can go well. But if the horoscope is afflicted, then that child will suffer throughout life unless the parents know to do the planetary remedies for that child. The marriage will go to divorce, the business will go bankrupt, the space shuttle will blow up, the president will go to war. By the way, on my AstroView YouTube video channel, I think it's AstroView 108, there's a chart on there for the space shuttle Challenger. I think that was like 1985, I think. You should see the horoscope for that Challenger. It's a disaster, and it goes up in the air and blows up with people on board. So I do think it would be ideal if NASA and or some of these companies that are involved in space exploration, in addition to considering the weather, they consider the horoscope, what we call Muhurta, for the time of the event.